Hey everybody, welcome back. Today for 2120, and it is Redness Day here at MobVlog. Welcome back, everyone. Hey Red, how's it going today?
Very well, Adam. Very well. Hi. Got the air conditioning on.
Excellent. See, it's getting warm in Vegas, starting to warm up. It's not pool season just yet. Before we get into today, though, and get into the Peterson Schussler boys murder and Ken Hansen, which is what we're going to really cover today. But last week, we got a lot of comments from you guys. And the comments were things such as the format was a little wonky. You know, it was a little like we got off track because maybe we took too many comments a little too early in the show. So what we're going to do is kind of stick to a tighter format. Couple quick hellos, and then, like I said, we're going to jump right into this. Oh, and we have a little new section, let's just say, as part of the show. So I think you guys are going to enjoy it.
Don't forget to hit that like button. And subscribe.
Hit the like button, smash the like button, and prescribe. Be sure to prescribe if you haven't already. Quickly, a couple of shout outs and thank yous because we put up a bunch of merchandise for sale, a lot of books, autographed things, Frank, and quick thank you to people who have purchased things in the last several days. Quickly, Gina McKenna, Von Donovan, Camillo, John Vokings, Tim Foster, DMR, Whitley, Van A, Mike Wells, and Cindy Workman. Thank you guys very much for supporting and for purchasing books, coffee cups, whatnot. It's very kind and nice of you. Also, one of you guys asked me in the comments for a specific piece of merchandise. And Gardino Inc. is the one who asked me for this. And I have a funny feeling that Gardino Inc. may be related to one of the hole-in-the-wall gang members, which was Frank's crew out here in Las Vegas. So he asked specifically for a cup design. And so I put it together, and it's a hole-in-the-wall gang cup, coffee cup. It's down below the video in the little merchandise section. Hey, Cindy Workman's father, happy birthday. Happy birthday from Red and from me. Awesome. So good to see you here today. Everyone else, Don Suchi. Wow. Hey, how's it going, Don?
Adam
good to see you today. Hey, I'm not even going there. All right. I'll screw up these names so badly. Pam Rudnick, how are you today?
Pam sent me a message, and I didn't get a chance to answer it till the next day.
Earlier today, Pam sent me a message and asked how to get here into the live video, so I'm glad you found your way. Calzone83, how's it going today? So we're going to, Scott, thanks. Hit the smash button. Smash the like button. Hit the smash button. What the hell's the matter with me today? So check this out, Red. We're going to hit this toward the end of the show today, but today in history, something pretty big happened. 26 years ago, today, April 21st, which was 2 days after the Oklahoma City bombing, Timothy McVeigh was arrested by the FBI 26 years ago today and charged with the bombing, the Oklahoma City bombing. And we're going to talk about that later, and we're going to open it up for discussion. If you guys want to jump in, we'll do that towards the end of the show. But let's get into the meat of things, and that means that we're going to talk some Ken Hansen and some of the Peterson boys. We have 14-year-old
Peterson Schussler. Peterson Schussler boys.
John Schuessler, 13.
Bobby Peterson was 14. John was 13. John Schussler was the youngest, I believe.
No, John was 13 and Anton was 11. Anton was 11. Yeah. Yep.
Sad story.
Yeah. And I was reading about it last night because I'm doing the research on this particular subject, which is very interesting, by the way, because it's a fact that this is one of the longest, is that right, cold case files of a triple homicide.
It is the longest in history of a cold case file that was 40 years old, and it was tried and convicted. There was somebody alive to be arrested, tried, and convicted.
So let's talk about the crime itself. What was, hey, Chad Weismer, hello, thank you for the donation. Why didn't the Hansens destroy or bury the boys? Chad, we'll definitely get to that and answer that question, or at least give you my opinion.
I'll give you the answer.
Okay, Red Hat, you just want to go into it? What is it? Why didn't he?
They thought it was nighttime. It was a Sunday night. And they thought it would be easier just to dump him in a ditch that was close to the stable
than to bury him. Did he not?
No, they just dumped him naked. They took all their clothes. They were naked. They were in the ditch.
Why didn't they bury him? Did they care that their boys were going to be found? Did he want them to be found?
They didn't think anybody be caught, and really, they were pretty true because out of all the lie detector tests and everything that they gave to all those people, they didn't catch anybody. It took 40 years to do it.
Wow. So let's get into, because Ken Hansen is the one who ends up being convicted of this 40 years after doing it, which is damn near a lifetime.
Oh, everybody thought whoever did it was dead.
Right. So here he is. How did you meet him?
I met Ken Hansen through Kurt Hansen. Kurt Hansen ran the Valley View Yak. I was staying out the Yak, and Kurt tossed me out and told me not to go. I watched him murder a guy, and he tossed me out and told me to go away. So,
you watched who murder a guy?
Kurt Hansen.
Kurt, this is Ken's brother.
Right, the hitman.
Which one was older?
Kurt was 12 years older.
Okay, got it.
At any rate, Ken Hansen had stopped by a couple times. Laporte stopped by. They used to play cards over by Kurt Hansen. So Fifi Laporte used to stop by there occasionally. Other people would stop by, many different people. And his brother would stop by, very flamboyant, gay. I mean, he really stood out in the crowd. But he used to play gin rummy with his brother. And he had a lot of ingenious ideas, like when they couldn't get a liquor license for that place, they got a juice license. They made a juice bar and brought in bands like Poco Harum and all the popular bands of that era. So Hansen shows me the way. He needed to ride back to his stable. And all the way along, he's pointing out different things, landmarks. You know, you turn here, you turn there. Remember that light, remember this. And I didn't pay too much attention to it. But later on, when Kurt tossed me out, he told me, he says, "I don't want you around here." And it at the time was like late at night, very late at night. And I looked at my gas gauge. There was no place I could really go. I mean, I couldn't even go to my parents' house. They were way up on the north side. And I needed gas. So that was on Lincoln Highway, out US 30. And so I found my way to Hansen's place, which was at 17201 South Central in Tinley Park. And to cut out a lot of the story, it's I made it into the house. I told him what the problem was. He told me never to repeat what I saw. I didn't know anything about the outfit at the time. I called it the Mafia.
You said you watched him murder someone.
Yes.
How? I mean, how did he kill him? I'm just curious.
He beat him with a blackjack. He beat him to death.
What, like a hand of cards? Is it a blackjack?
No,
What's
a blackjack. It's got a lead ball on the end of it, and it was 12 ounce. It was 12-ounce Texan, and he just smashed his head, and beat him to death.
What's it made of? It's like a sock with a sock with a.
No, it's made out of leather. It's made out of leather.
Okay.
And police used to use them, but they outlawed them because they were dangerous.
Sounds like it.
Oh yeah, you kill some.
It sounds like it. A lead ball in the end of a.
It's wrapped into, and there's a spring in there, so it has a spring action.
All right, so he beat him to death with this.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Then what happened?
Later on, he told me. I wrote about it in my book.
What year? What year?
This was 1968.
Okay.
A lot happened in 68. Believe me, it was a fast year.
Well, yeah, anyway, it was the year after 67, I think.
Yeah, I just got home. As a matter of fact, I didn't know what I was doing with my life, and that's how I got the job out there. But through Marion McGann, which was Kurt's sister and Kenny's sister, half sister anyway. But long and short was that I made it out there, and they had well water that was so bad. It had iron in it and all kinds of stuff, and I didn't want to drink it. And I was hungry. Kurt didn't feed me before I left. He just wanted me out of there, you know. And I had access to the kitchen, all different kinds of things. So while we were, he offered me coffee. The coffee smelled bad too. I didn't want that. And he reaches up in the cabinet and grabs a hold of some Cutty Sark, a brand new bottle of Cutty Sark, hadn't been opened. Mm-hmm. And we start drinking Cutty Sark, and I'm hungry. So he makes me 2 bologna sandwiches. And 2 bologna sandwiches and a half a bottle of scotch, you don't get very far. I mean, you get pretty messed up. So meanwhile, he's talking to me about his brother being in the Marine Corps, me being in the Marine Corps. And he said, you know what they teach you to do in the Marine Corps, don't you? And I said, yeah, you know, I know exactly what you do, what they teach you to do. And I described some of the things, and he said, no, they teach you to kill. They teach you to kill people. That's what they teach you to do. And that's what my brother's good at. So at any rate, as we're going along, he starts telling me different tales of different things and explaining that it's not called the mafia. It's called the outfit. That's the first time I ever heard the word outfit in my life. Mm-hmm. So from that, he was telling tales and of different things. And he told me about the Peterson Schussler case. And he said, I came that close to being headlines myself. I had to leave and go to the South Side. So I didn't pay much attention to it, but I did report to the FBI. And they didn't do anything with it. They didn't go anywhere with it. Evidently, the powers that be thought that I was more important being involved with the outfit than I was with a homicide. Mm-hmm. Triple homicide. It was their call. And so I had gotten pretty deep in by the time I actually talked to him about it. But eventually what happened was they were working on the Helen Brock case. That was the ATF. That was Jimmy DeLordo. He assigned John Rotunio and Jimmy Grady to work with me. And I told him,
Rotunio, you say?
Rotuno, Rotunno.
Rotuno, is how you? Okay, Rotuno.
John Rotunno,
the butcher. One second, Red. I don't mean to interrupt you. Guys, thank you for your comments. I'm just checking the time quickly here. If you're just coming in, please hit the like button, smash that thing. Leanne rolling along, Blake Gregory, Scott H. Dano, David. We're going to get to all of your comments. When we finish this little section, we're going to open it up for a discussion about the Peterson Schussler murders. Okay, so let's go on, Red. So you were assigned to, or John Rotunno was assigned to you?
Yeah, by Jimmy DeLordo. Jimmy DeLordo met me in 1985 or 1986. I'm not sure. It had to do with the Grand Avenue crew. And he didn't think I knew anything about the horse business at all because he thought I just knew about the mob guys.
Okay.
And when I was talking to him on the phone late one evening, I said I was told by the FBI that this was it was hearsay. And he said, no. He started arguing with me. He said, that's a confession. If he told you that, he confessed it to you. Mm-hmm. And so he assigned the two agents. They came out and saw me, and they wrote down all these different things. And they went back and fact checked me and found out everything I said was accurate. Then they asked me some more questions. Have you ever been to a library? Have you ever read anything about this? Because it occurred in 1955. I was only 6 years old then.
Okay.
In 1955. So it turned out that I jump-started the case. And we actually got into court. They arrested Hansen. He was also, at the time they arrested him, they had a warrant for him for the disappearance of Helen Brock before a grand jury. So he was ducking the grand jury subpoena. He really didn't know what he was getting arrested for at the time. And he admitted to molesting over 1,000 hitchhikers during his interrogation, or whatever you want to call it. But
hold on. Ken Hansen admitted to molesting?
Yes.
1,000 hitchhikers. Over 1,000.
Over 1,000. That was Mary Riley. She was doing the stenography, and she was the court reporter that was in there during his interrogation.
God, this guy was sick.
And they mentioned to him at the time, it was funny because I read all the notes on it. He said, do you know Red Wemette? Do you know Roger Spry? Do you know all these different people? And he said, oh, yeah, they're all great people. And he said, would you be surprised to know whoever, they're testifying against you for a murder? And he said, they're liars. He changed his story right away. But the long and short of it was, we did take him to trial in 1995. He was convicted. There were some gory details involved. The state's attorney, Scott Cassidy, put up a big 4x8 sheet, like a plywood thing, of the bodies that were laying in the ditch in front, and the jury saw this the whole time. He used it as an exhibit. I vomited when I first saw that thing in the office. I walked by and just glanced at it, and I went over to the sink and got sick.
Gosh.
It was bad. It was really bad.
Gosh.
But the story he told me was that he molested one of the younger boy, while the other two were out in the riding arena. He was in a tack room where they keep saddles and stuff like that, and it's locked up. He was with the other young boy in there. And when the young boy came out, he was going to switch off for another one. And the young boy told him what happened, and they said, we're going to call the police. We better tell our parents. And that's when they were killed. They were murdered. And he had help in that, disposing of the bodies. They weren't found that far away from the barn that the crime was committed in.
So he did this all on his own. No one else.
No, his brother helped him clean it up. I mean, he came in and cleaned it up, and there was speculation that Cy Jane cleaned it up too because he owned the barn.
Okay, so it's just sick. It's just sick. So
the whole thing was sick.
Who told you about it? Sick. Or did they all at some point?
Sick people. Oh, these two were sick people. I mean, really sick.
Which one, or did they all say something to you about it, or?
Kurt never discussed it, but Kenny, that night that I was telling you about, was the scotch I got loaded, and his children, and he had two sons, and his wife were in Las Vegas at the time. And Sally, Kurt's wife, they were all in Las Vegas having a good time. So he told me, he said, go in here and you can sleep it off in their rack. And I stripped out down to my skivvies, and I always carried a 45 automatic, and I put it underneath the pillow. And when I did, I was laying there, I was drunk and asleep. He crept in the middle of the night and tried to molest me. He put his hands on me, and I put my hand at his chest. I just pushed him up away, and I said, what do you think you're doing? Get out of here. He left. That was it. But at dawn, when it was just, sun was just coming up, he kicks me out the back door. and I run into Roger Spry. First thing Roger Spry asked me is, he said, "Did he tell you about the Peterson boys?" And I said, "No."
Who was Roger Spry?
He was his homosexual lover since age 6.
So Roger and Ken.
Right.
Okay. And Ken tried to come into the room then, and then then he kicked you out in the morning, and Roger was outside and asks you, did he tell you about
Roger asked me, he said, "Did he tell you about this?" I guess he used to tell anybody that he got sexually involved with, about this incident. And he used to do it when he was drunk all the time. He talked. I testified that every time he got drunk, he'd talk about it. It was something that bothered him. I don't know.
Right.
He was nuts, crazy. Him and Sam were friends, like I said before. Him and Sam DeStefano.
Jesus, he's tied into Sam then as well, this guy.
Oh, yeah. When I
was the one
in basement, that's I went.
That's right. You were with him. That's right. I remember. Okay, so wow. So this is so you knew all this, but you kept hanging around with these people too.
Yeah, well, actually, I left Hansen and went into the city and started tending bar.
Okay.
And I started tending bar B-girl joints and stuff like that. Then Kurt came to me at the Nocturne, which is like the oldest. Bill Niff owned it. It was, I think it was established in 1938, before World War II. And it was a private club. And Kurt had a club card. And he came in and he said, "Look, my place burned down. I didn't have insurance like I thought I did. Kenny's in trouble. His wife is divorcing him. She's holding a lot over his head. You know what she's holding over his head." And I said, "Yeah, I know. I know how he is, And so he said, "I can make this thing happen for you. I can make this bookstore happen for you, this porn shop." And he said, "But," he said, "I need some help. And the help I need is you to drive my brother around, get him squared away with the driver's license, that sort of thing." And so that's how I got back into it. And it was back and forth, back and forth. If you read the newspapers, they're all messed up. They speculate. And not only that, most of the time, 99% of the time, they use quotes from Hansen's defense attorneys. They weren't things that were factual. They were in quote marks.
Like what?
One of them was John O'Brien kept labeling me as Ken Hansen's longtime homosexual lover. And John Bertuno felt...
Sorry, it's Ken's?
Yeah.
Okay.
And John Bertuno called John O'Brien. He wrote for the Times. And no, for Trib, excuse me. And he called him. He said, "Why do you keep doing this over and over?" He said, "It's not very good. This guy's got family and everything else. I mean, why are you doing this?" And he said, "Well, it makes good copy, number one." And he says, "Yeah, but it's slander." And he said, "No, it's not. There's quote marks that the attorney said, and it's like a headline you might see today on YouTube or something like that, where they show you something that's written.
Twisting it slightly."
Oh, yeah. Hansen never took the stand and never accused me of anything. And they kept it out of court. They never said anything in court about that specific thing that they used to talk to the press about.
Right. So,
as a result, there were 3 or 4 books written where people read things in the press that labeled me as Ken Hansen's homosexual lover.
Okay.
That was difficult to explain to my family. They said, "Have you been hiding something from us?" And I said, "No."
Okay. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm as I'm listening to Red here, I'm also skimming through your comments, and Scott H, JB Work, Pam, I'm reading everything here. We're going to open everything up for a discussion in a few more minutes, okay? And then I just want to cover a couple of more things before we do that. So Red Rotuno was quoted as saying this about Ken Hansen. This is after Ken died. He said, "I wish he would have stayed in longer, just to linger, just to stay there." And he said that after he died, meaning
In
he
2000,
wished he would have had to spend more time
I called
rotting
John.
away in a cell.
Nobody knew. I called John. He was getting beat up in prison, terrible. They said he slipped and fell on the ice and broke a hip. I mean, he was getting worked over in prison a lot. But John hated him with a passion. He despised him.
Okay.
And John was the best agent I ever worked with in my life. We never had any real disagreements. I knew his wife. I knew his family. It was kind of a different situation. Totally.
Okay.
Him and Jim Grady were great. Jim Grady was also the team that I worked with.
Right.
Jimmy Grady.
So how long anyway did he live after he was convicted?
Well, he was convicted in 95 the first time. He won on appeal, and we went back to trial in 2002, and he again was found guilty in a very short period of time by the jury. And Leonard Goodman handled that case. He's from the Truth and Innocence Project at Northwestern, somebody that I despise. I despise him and that whole group. But anyway, after that, 2008 was, 6 years later? So he was actually in prison 95, 205, about 8 years. 18 years. Wait a second. 95, 205. Yeah, 18 years.
Yeah. Okay. DPN just jumped on. Sup, guys? These kids were buried in the woods, Cumberland and Forest Preserve.
They were not buried. Their bodies were just dumped in the ditch.
They were dumped.
And a salesman that was coming along found the bodies.
Salesman was just walking by, huh?
No, he stopped there to take his lunch. There was a picnic bench.
Okay.
And he stopped there to take his lunch. And, you know, he was a brown bagger, I guess. And he saw the bodies. He thought they were mannequins at first. They were just laying there. And he walked over, and when he did see what it was, he called the police. And then everybody messed up the crime scene. Chicago PD came. The Cook County Sheriffs came. Everybody came. They had been looking for these three boys that were missing for quite some time. They left on I think it was on a weekend. They went to see the Lion King, African Lion King, Disney movie. Yeah, gotcha. That's Bobby to the left, his brother.
There's the
now here's the bodies ditch. Right there. Yeah, they're ditch, just laying there in a ditch.
And of course, there's the father. Yeah, I read that. The father,
his father
Anton
died.
Jr. died. Yeah, he died a month after his two sons were killed. The guy had a massive heart attack and died.
Yeah, but that heart attack, you know what he died of? They brought him in for shock treatment because they thought he was the main suspect. And they brought him in for shock treatment.
The father was the main suspect?
Right.
Holy cow.
That family went through hell.
Oh, yeah. And boy,
did they thank me after it was all over. They were all over me. They wanted to thank me. And several people called me. The rest of the family lives in Wisconsin. And they ordered a book for me, and this years ago. And they thanked me so much. They said, we were there every day. We watched you and both trials. And thank you so much.
Wow. That's quite the story, Red. And some people also, and right after this question, then I'm going to open it up for you guys. But some people also, they criticize you and say, why wasn't it sooner? Why didn't you say something sooner?
I wanted to. The FBI told me not to, and they were the people I was reporting to on a regular basis. So I didn't do it. And the reasoning was this. It's a Cook County case, so it'll be tried to Cook County courts, and all the mob guys are going to know who you are. Joey Lombardo would know who I was. Everybody, Phil Alderisio, everybody. Well, Alderisio was dead by then, but Everybody would have known. Everybody. Adam, I can't hear you.
I'm going to open it up right now. So if you guys want to stay on topic and for the next 10 minutes or so, and Red can answer any questions about this that you guys might have. And I'm just going to reply to a couple of people because, like I said, I've been reading the comments in the side as it's been going on. And it looks like Eric Epstein said, hi, Red. Then he said, hi, Adam and Red. And then he said, Adam, was that you who won? And I think he's talking about the wet t-shirt contest that happened out here. And then he asked me if I got the bra that he sent me. And then he wanted to know what color panties you were wearing, Red. And I just got to say, Eric, I think you got like a lingerie or panty fetish, dude, because you're thinking about this stuff way too much, man. And it's kind of a twisted panty fetish on top of it. You know what I mean? It's not like a normal panty fetish.
That's like the guy that asked me about Michael Spilotro's underwear.
Underwear, yeah, exactly.
And I explained to him that they were nylon and colored, colored nylon. But he said, I don't know, bikini style or what. They weren't. They were boxer briefs.
Okay. So JB Workman wants to know, how old were you when that guy hit on you? When this Ken Hansen came into the...
I was 21 years old.
Okay.
But I looked like I was 16, 17. Yeah. I looked very young.
Right. Yeah, I've seen your military photo. You look like you're 10 years old or something in the military. So just saying. So so Stephen Healy
paid off. I don't look my age now. I'm 73.
There you go. And I mean, look how good I look at 65. Not bad. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm doing pretty damn good. Look at that. There's hardly any crow's feet or anything here, man.
No, nicely trimmed beard. I mean,
gotta say, man. You look good. Right? I still have hair at 65. This is great. Oh, to be 60 again. Oh, to be. Anyhow, so what a shame that the FBI let this guy slide. Don.
Actually, on the second trial, they brought in John Osborne and to verify the fact that they did know about it. And they did verify it with Judge Mary Ellen Coughlin, but he wasn't allowed to take the stand. The FBI attorneys that were there representing him said, we don't want to compromise any of Red's file.
Got it.
I didn't know it, but family secrets is coming up.
So Stephen Healy wants to know, did the military and your training as a Marine, did that prepare you for what you faced in your life?
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say 100%.
Yeah, interesting.
That I had.
Did Austin Spriggs wants to know, did Ken offer you some rush?
No, I invented rush. He offered me some marijuana, though, and I told him I don't do drugs. I was out of it completely. I was smashed. And he said, you want some of this? And I said, I don't do drugs. I'm sorry.
My gosh. Red, that was a funny story about you in the sewer, John Allen commented.
I put that up about Tommy. Yeah.
When did you put that up? Just recently?
Yesterday, I believe.
Okay, yesterday. So we'll throw a link up over here if you guys want to see that video about
a lot of comments that I was surprised.
You in the sewer. So cool. All right. So Adam, what is this? You ain't 65. Who you trying to kid? Oh, it's hilarious. Hey, DPN's over in Calumet City. Shout out. What's going on? What are you doing?
How you doing, DPN? We'll get together sooner or later.
Sooner or later, you have to. He's an interesting guy to talk with. He helped me along with this channel quite a bit in the beginning. So, yet you didn't beat this guy with a baseball bat. Cindy Workman said with the guy with Ken Hansen when he hit on you. Yeah.
No.
Okay. So,
I was drunk and I was laying there in bed half asleep.
Yeah.
It was hot. It was a single trailer, not a double wide, but a single trailer. And it was very warm in there. I mean, like maybe 100 degrees. It was summertime.
Okay.
It's in July.
You had protection back then. You carried. You said you had a gun. You said you put it on.
I had a 45 underneath the pillow.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
when he left the room, I reached back to see it was still there.
Wow. Huh. Very interesting. How old were you when you started carrying a gun all the time?
$18.
Okay.
Full time.
Sure.
I carried one when I was in the Marine Corps at 17, but not full time. But after 18 years of age, I carried one full time.
Huh. So, getting off subject, I'm getting a lot of questions about this, so we're going to move along. If you guys want to touch on this, we can still. I cannot believe it's snowing in Calumet City, DPN. That's crazy. I'm so happy I'm not in Calumet City.
It's snowing in Virginia, too. Some of my friends called me this morning. They said it's snowing in Virginia.
Really? In Virginia, huh? Chad Weismer, can you do a horse mafia redness day? How much do you know about the mafia being tied up with the horses?
Not that much, except they controlled Parimutuel, and they did use horses.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really not a. I wasn't that deeply involved in it. I had other things I had to do.
And you know what? We'll throw another card up here for you guys if you want to click on it. It's Who's Red Wemette, and that's the name of the video. And we talk about the horse racing, and we talk about even the guy that I knew, Ben Scora, who was approached by the mob to build a remote control shocking device that they would put inside the horses behind, and hit the button, and it would make the. And we'll put the card up there, so if you guys want to watch that video.
I also did a bedtime story on my channel.
And in the description below, you guys can find Red's channel if you want to check it out. Go through his playlists and see some of the stories, everything from Mr. T to Tony Spilotro. So it's interesting stuff. Okay, couple quick shout outs, and then I want to get to the back to Timothy McVeigh and talk about him a little bit and just what your experience and what you remember about that incident 26 years ago when I was graduating from high school that year. So, yeah, Red, you wouldn't recognize Chicago Heights anymore. Sean Pender, I wouldn't recognize it either. I was there 15 years ago. I wouldn't recognize it, I bet. It was really going to down to the dumps back then. But that was years ago, so I can't even imagine what it's like. Leanne rolling along. It's Ohio, Indiana. It's snowing. Cool. I'm glad I'm not in the snow with you. So Mr. Ed was the boss of the horse mafia. That's funny, Calzone 83. Scott H. Did Red produce gay pornography?
Yes, I did.
Yes, he did. There you go. It was the
No, not gay pornography. I produced straight pornography. I never did the gay stuff.
You didn't do even when the guys showed up early and they were waiting for the girls, you didn't start filming then too?
Adam, you would have been a perfect candidate. No.
Did Ken and Kurt work for Albert Taco? Is that what you said?
No, never.
Never. Okay. Do you know who killed Roger Toohey? Dana wants to know.
Yes, I do. He said he did, which is a confession. Mm-hmm. And that was Abi Forboda.
Okay.
I met Abi through Phil Amato. He brought him around to see me at the shop. He was an old man by then. He was had diabetes. He was blind and everything else. But we talked about things.
Right. Okay. How much did you kick upstairs to the outfit? What was your street tax on your bookstore?
Actually, it was supposed to be 1/2 of the peep shows in back, but it turned out to be $250 a week. It started out different, but it turned out to be $250 a week, which is $1,100 a month.
Okay.
But nobody actually came in and extorted me.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Lombardo through Jimmy Catura, and said Jimmy Catura sent him to me. Said to go see Joey. He's a good boy. He'll take care of you. And then I made arrangements to open. So it wasn't like somebody came in, muscled me, and slapped me around and said, "You better give me some money."
Okay, got it. Joseph Collada, how are you doing? It's good to see you. I'm glad that you're tuning in. And it reminds me to let you guys know that Frank's cookbook, it's out. You guys can go in the description below, and you guys can buy Frank's cookbooks loaded with Frank's recipes. And yeah, so be sure to check that out. And also the book, this is written by David Bowman and with Dennis Griffin, and it's called Bringing Down Collada, which is another awesome, interesting story. If you guys haven't
very good
that rabbit hole, that's happening. So things are going well. And Joe, I just want to say that I hope that you're feeling well, and I'll give you a call soon and catch up and talk a little bit. I think I'm going to be heading in your neck of the woods here pretty soon. So
God bless you, Joe.
Chain Weaver claps, waves at Joe Collada. So awesome. And Pam Rudnick says Joe. So good. Everybody's happy to see Joe. Phil Hadaway, you just got the cookbook in the mail. Phil, have you cooked anything in the cookbook? Because there's some really great recipes.
It's rich food.
Yes. Speaking of, I have to say that last week I was talking about I'm going to start this keto and I'm going to lose some weight and start getting into shape. And I got to tell you guys this. I'm starting tonight. I'm starting a daily vlog on Adam Flowers' YouTube channel. So it'll be a daily thing, and I'm going to sit down every day and tell you guys what I'm eating, what I'm doing, what I did, and what I weigh, and all of that. Because in the last 7 days, I've lost 7 pounds. So
you're in there. That's what happened to me. Adam told me about it, and wow,
my body kicked into ketosis, and I am it's starting to. I'm sweating it out right now. I can feel it. Actually, no. Funny thing about losing weight is that you between urination, defecation, sweating, and breathing, those 4 things, which one do you lose the most weight from?
Sweating.
I would have thought defecation. Okay. Then
the first 2 days I was on the diet, I didn't go.
Oh, me either. All right. Well, you eat so much damn cheese, you get plugged up. All right. So it's not sweating, it's not defecating, and it's not urination. It is breathing. True fact. It's breathing. Yeah. All you have to do to lose weight is move and breathe. So that's what it comes down to. Anyway, okay, so enough about that. Timothy McVeigh. So where were you when this happened, and what do you remember of this big incident? This was the biggest, by the way, this was the biggest terrorist attack on our soil, and it held that record until 9/11, as a matter of fact. So it was 168 killed, including 19 children.
On which day? Which year was this?
This was 95. This was 4/19.
I was sitting in my living room with John Rotuno from the ATF and Jimmy Grady, and we watched the FBI had taken over David Koresh's compound, and they bulldozed it. And right after that, I watched Timothy McVeigh being arrested and all the mistakes that were made. He was stopped by a police officer. They let him pass. It was a bungle of errors, but they finally did get him. In his trial, I watched it on Court TV. Court TV was very popular at that time. And it was very interesting. It was a very interesting trial. Mm-hmm. It made no bones about it. It was to bring the attention of the government agencies actually destroying people like at Ruby Ridge, mm-hmm. which they won a big lawsuit over that. I forget what the guy's name is right now, but he finally did win his lawsuit. And David Koresh's compound in Texas, which they went in and destroyed.
Right. I remember all of that. I remember watching that on the news, the Waco, Texas incident, and and the Oklahoma City bombing. We're seeing both of them. And the guy drove a truck full of fertilizer in front of the building, right? Like a rental truck. Yeah, McVeigh did.
He had two people helping him.
Oh yeah. So he didn't do this solo.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, how come he was the only one that was killed, sentenced to death? He was sentenced to death.
The other two made plea bargains and they testified.
Ah, okay. And what was their role?
And they still got time. I mean, they got 15 years. One got 15 years.
Yeah. Jesus. That's
he was a former Army demolition man.
Right. By the way, guys, we have a short clip because you guys we talked this afternoon all about Ken Hansen and what he did with the Peterson and Schuessler boys and how that all unfolded. This is what he looked like, and this is just a quick clip of after he was convicted, after 40 years after he did it, being convicted. Watch, check it out.
All coming up on 2.
Meantime, in other news today, a triple murder mystery that's haunted the Chicago area for nearly 40 years has been solved. Charges have been filed now in connection with the 1955 murders of 3 young boys, 14-year-old Robert Peterson and 2 brothers, 13-year-old John and 11-year-old Anton Schussler. The suspect in this has been identified as Kenneth Hansen of South Suburban Country Club Hills. Hansen arrested at his home. Cook County State's Attorney Jack O'Malley is scheduled to hold a news conference at this hour to discuss these charges. Federal officials said earlier this week a suspect had been identified in this case as a result of that investigation into the murder of Candy heiress Helen Voorhees Brock. Channel 2's John Davis is at the news conference and we'll have a report at 4:30.
So he goes into Helen Brock. We just touched on that. That was the Brock candy, right? The Brock's candy.
The candy heiress.
When I was in Chicago, and you guys go back and watch the videos of the Frank Collada commemorative videos. I'll stick a card up right here for you guys to click on of the commemorative tour. But I drove around with Joe quite a bit. Joe Collada showed me a lot of different places around and a little bit, and including the candy factory. I remember looking at that. So that's what it was. Tell me the story.
About Helen?
Yeah.
Helen, her husband died. She was quite a bit older. She was
I guess I should keep it on track here, but how was Ken involved with her in the murder?
Ken?
Yes.
Cy Jane ordered the murder. I believe it was Frank J. Jr. that was involved in it, and he involved Matlock in it, who was the houseman, to pick her up. And when they actually thought they killed her, they brought her out to Hansen's place in the arena. They drove the car into the arena, and Kurt was there. Kurt Hansen was there. Ken Hansen was there, and all of a sudden a ring slipped off her finger, a very valuable ring, and she was alive. And so Kurt Hansen told Joe Plemons, who was Ken Hansen's boy at the time, he told him, he said, he gave him a shotgun and said, sawed-off shotgun, and said, finish her off. And he didn't want to. And Kurt pulled a pistol out and said, either there's going to be one person in the station wagon dead or 2. So he did. He finished it off. And he passed the polygraph test. Totally.
What is this?
Three or four times, but the state's attorney didn't want to prosecute it.
What is this TC saying that Helen Brock disappeared going to or from the Mayo Clinic?
She was at the Mayo Clinic for a regular checkup, and she told several people that she was going to hold a press conference and talk to the FBI, the IBI, and several other people about how the Jane family and that horse mafia was actually selling her killer horses, but making them look like expensive hunters and jumpers. She paid $300,000-$400,000 a piece for them, and they were really only worth $50.
Wow.
And then they would kill them and collect the insurance money.
Silas Jane is rotting in hell, TC says.
Oh, yes. Guaranteed.
Wow. Christopher Moltisanti. That was a good one.
Got that one good?
I nailed it. I nailed it. Keep up the good work, Adam. I'm waiting every week for the new videos. This stuff is pure gold for us mob historians and connoisseurs. I'm glad that you're enjoying it, and I'm glad that the content that we're putting out here is you guys are enjoying and listening to. Most of you, anyway. Those of you that aren't, well, I guess you're not.
Can't please everybody.
No, man. Nobody's pizza. Nobody makes everybody happy. It just doesn't happen. So... where was the arena? David Grimp wants to know.
Where he was murdered? Or where
yes.
she was murdered?
Yes,
that was the 17201 South Central, Tinley Park, Illinois. At that time, it was unincorporated Cook County.
Wow. Okay. So that's where she was found.
And that was back in 1978. No, she wasn't found there. They never found the body. Vic Spilotro was there also. Victor Spilotro, Tony's brother, was there also. And they took her to East Chicago, Indiana, to the steel mills, Inland Steel. And they dumped her body into a vat of, what do they call it, molten steel? Where you're making steel. And so basically everything was destroyed. There was never any recovery of the body.
And, okay, and talking about the Helen Brock incident, Tommy the Sandman Burns was brought in to kill those horses.
That was the lead case. Jimmy DeLordo had called me. He was in Florida. He was in Gainesville, Florida, and I was in Florida. And he called me and said, "I'm on this stakeout. It's raining. It's terrible out here." He was just talking to me because he was bored. And so they actually videotaped and watched him break the legs of a horse while he was pretending to load him up into a trailer, and they flipped him. And he told about Cy. He told about everybody. He was the number one witness in the trial.
So, Bob Dog, I'm not passing up your questions, buddy. I just wanted to kind of keep them on track. Were there any other ethnic groups or have organized crime in Chicago that would butt heads with the outfit?
Ethnic groups?
Yeah. Other gangs, I guess, is the question.
No, not that I know.
Organized crime, ethnic groups with organized crime.
No.
I mean, besides the Peace Stone Rangers, they were organized.
They didn't butt heads too much.
Okay, got it. And also, what do you say the size of the outfit was at its peak? It's probably pretty hard to give an exact number, even.
When I was around, it was I would say maybe 400 to 500 soldiers, and I don't know how many made guys. I mean, there were a lot of them.
Right. So a lot is the answer.
It depends on which crew you were with.
Sure. Okay, Northwest Burbs. Northwest Burbs. Was 77 when Brock disappeared, because I passed her house on the way to high school every day, and we would stare at her pink caddy out front and wonder what was going on.
In Glenview.
I was a freshman in high school at the time. Yeah. Okay. So she had a pink caddy, huh?
Yes, she did.
Wow. Very interesting. So
she also had a Rolls Royce, but she liked that pink caddy.
Huh. T.C. Bailey was the con man who had been romantically linked to Helen?
Yes, he actually whined her. It was a Lonely Hearts thing in a newspaper that said woman wants to meet this or that, and she ran an ad in there. And Bailey picked up on it, several women. And he was actually accused of conspiracy to kill her, and he got time in prison. I just talked to him a year ago. He just got out of prison. And he was wrongfully convicted. He was.
Okay.
He got out at 90-some years old. but he was. They pigeonholed him. They got him in the corner with his association with Cy, his association with Frank Jr. He actually did the deals on selling the horses. He was the front man that took the fall.
Right.
And they asked him dozens of times, do you know what happened? And he said, if I knew, I'd tell. If I knew anything, I'd tell you.
Right.
I felt sorry for the guy.
I think we're going.
He was a con man. He was a con man. He did rip people off, but he never murdered anybody.
I think we're going back to the ethnic groups question. Were there other ethnic groups? Dano saying Roger Toohey butted heads. The Irish organized.
I would say, yeah. He was that was way back, but before my time. But I knew about it. It's kind of the talk. He was gunned down on his own doorstep as he was stepping out. Mm-hmm. But at any rate, I didn't think of that ethnic group. I was thinking the Irish weren't that big, and it's like saying the Polish, Czechoslovakian, or whatever.
Right.
The Irish really weren't that big at that time.
Okay. Next question, Low 505. What book do you recommend on the Chicago outfit?
Wow.
I'll tell you which one that Frank Collada recommended, if you're interested.
I'm interested.
What was yours? What's your book though?
I don't know. I lived so much of it. I never really read that much about the Chicago outfit. One of the first books I wrote,
I read a book. It's really good about the outfit.
What's The Last Mafioso with Jimmy Fradiano?
No. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's the it's like a blue cover. It says "Nobody Cares" and what I did about it. It's a really good book. It's a shameless plug for you, Red. It's a shameless plug. Okay.
I like it. All my heart's in it. It's all true.
So what's the book?
The book is about my life and my association with
no. Your favorite book, not your book. I mean, unless you're a narcissist and your favorite book is your book. I mean, if I wrote a book about it, I may say it's my favorite.
Actually, the first book that I read that really interested me was The Last Mafioso with Jimmy Fradiano. That was very interesting.
Okay. And the book that I asked Frank, I said, Frank had a whole shelf in his place. And I remember looking at the different titles. And I said, which book's the best book, Frank, out of all these books? And this is it right here. That's what he said. It's Gangland USA by Richard Hammer. And it was originally Playboy Illustrated History of Organized Crime. So I guess this ran in Playboy magazine for several, what do they call them, issues. So anyway, I've been reading it, and it's a fantastic book. But Frank said this was about the closest to what he read anyway that he thought was closest to reality. But this beginning right here, when you open the book, the beginning's organized crime did not begin with the mafia. Ear chewed off, $15. Leg or arm broke, $19. Shot in the leg, $25. Stabbed, $25. Doing the big job, $100 and up. Right here. That's how it starts. Very interesting book, okay? I want to know, though, who put the price of $19 on an arm or a leg broke? Well, couldn't they just make it $20? It's like these folks that sell tickets for $99.95 on this Vegas mob tour. Just round it off to the number.
There was somebody, I read this somewhere, there was somebody who wrote a book that I think it was from Johnny Torrio's days. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about somebody in there that they had set prices for different things. Also, Sam DeStefano had separate prices for different things, too.
TC, I agree with you. Casino by Nick Pileggi, because it uses the real names, and that's true. All the real names are in the book Casino, and it's not like Nicky Santoro. It's Tony Spilotro. It's Jerry, McGee. It's all the real names. They changed it for the movie for legal purposes, I believe. But anyhow,
it's not only a great West Coast. It talks about him being from Cleveland. We're talking about The Last Mafioso here.
Yeah.
It talks about being from Cleveland and actually being hooked up with Chicago,
right,
and Frank Schweihs going out to assassinate him.
Right. Well, there you have it. The Mafioso is great for our West Coast people interested in the three crime families. So I have not read that, but I will definitely check that out. So,
well, Johnny Roselli's mentioned in there. There's a lot of people that,
Yeah. Well, it has been a fantastic Redness Day today, and it was good to see you again. Good to talk these Peterson Schussler boy murders with the Hansen brothers and Helen Brock. And of course Timothy McVeigh. It's been a very interesting afternoon. I hope that you guys all enjoyed it. If you do, hit that like button. Be sure to get it, smash it, guys. Get it out there. The more you hit it, the further the video goes. It's fantastic. And don't forget, tonight, April 21st, there will be a nightly vlog on Adam Flowers' YouTube. So if you want to tune in there, you can. And I'm not really going to be talking a lot of mob stuff, but I will be talking some other personal things. So if you guys want to join me, feel free. And other than that, I had a great time. Thank you again, Red.
You're welcome.
Everybody, be sure to check the description below and check out Red's channel. Be sure to subscribe to his. Perscribe over here. Dazzling Urbanite. Thank you for the donation. It's fantastic, nice, wonderful of you guys. And
Dazzling Urbanite.
Oh, and don't forget, look in the description below if you want to get one of those hole-in-the-wall gang coffee cups. I put them up there for like $15. So if you guys want one, grab it. It's cool. And like I say, it was a special design for Gardino Inc. So see you guys later. Kissy Cat, Space Monkey, Don. I know you put your description of your name up there before, and I didn't see it, and I read through it, and I'll get it right next time. It's
Deposit
Don Caccio di Pizzalo. Caccio di Pizzalo. I think I got it right. Anyway, Dazzling Urbanite, thanks a bunch. Jack Drago was the boss. Very cool.
Only for a short period of time.
All right. Hey, Red, it's been fun. You guys, it's been a blast once again. Thank you guys for joining us. MobVlog.